Welcome back to the Desk Talk Podcast with your hosts, Trent Werner and Alex.SMagala, bringing you weekly episodes talking business, personal development, and all things real estate. Let's do it! All right. We're back. Desk Talk Podcast, mustache version. We're back with Cooper Brunner, round two. Our boy, Coop, CB, Mr. Moon Pie himself. What's
Don't
up?
you forget it. Moon Pie Mondays. You know it's coming at you live every single week. What's up?
Over 1 million views on Instagram. Shout out.
Yeah, man, that's a miracle. But first and foremost, thanks for having me on the show again, guys. It's good to be back. It's good to be back.
Original Moon Pie.
But yeah, hey, you know what? Before we get into
No free ads, though.
a tangent on the Moon Pies, you know, that's been a roller coaster too. Like, I literally posted a reel on Instagram, you know, catchy song, and I've been doing Moon Pie Monday. The gist of it, short story on this, is it's literally just a reward that you get for earning it in the gym. Like doing something active, moving, and really just kicking butt on a Monday. You reward yourself with a Moon Pie. And it's been catching on. Like, it's on The Bachelorette. You guys see that? Have you guys seen that? I don't watch it, but all these girls were sending me little snippet videos of this dude that literally brought a little plate of Moon Pies, and people are like, why are you bringing these bark chips to
He
The
had to
Bachelorette?
be one of your million viewers.
No shot. It was like literally the week of. But
That's wild.
yeah, just the whole reel algorithm right now, Instagram pushing that as like a new feature has really opened up doors for a lot of people that have already been on TikTok that maybe are struggling to grow an audience. And I like it. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on the reels?
Before we dive into it, for those of our listeners that don't, or watchers, or viewers, and subscribers, who are you? Who's Cooper Brunner?
I feel like I've explained
Yeah,
myself
round
a
two.
little bit on the first podcast.
Go back and listen to it. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm just I'm a hard worker, straight up. Like, I work my ass off, and it's showing right now with my family's companies. For those of you that haven't maybe tuned into the first episode or listened to my podcast, I help with working a few businesses with my family. Innovite Endurance Products replaces and Endurance Products are our brands, and then Innovite is our manufacturing plant. And we make supplements. We make supplements for endurance athletes, and we make supplements for people with high cholesterol. And I don't want to toot my own horn, but I've been with my family's company for a year now. This month, November, a year. And we've made changes with the company, a lot of marketing changes. My parents have no clue how to do the Facebook, Instagram ad space. And so I've done my due diligence to get the right team in place. And since I've been with the team, we saw a huge change in March of 2020 where COVID really hit, people becoming more self-aware of their health. And we implemented the Facebook ad space, A/B split tests. We've been doing Google Analytics, doing these Google ads, and really using the internet and the direct-to-consumer space to catapult our sales. And it's really made a dramatic change for us. And right now, man, it's like you would expect growth to be like this, slowly growing, but I will guarantee you, since I've been with the company, it's like this. You have days, months where you shoot up on Amazon, you're wondering what the heck is going on with sales, and then next month it's like dead. Like election day, it was super quiet, and it was really weird. Like, we only had maybe 60 units sold, and then the next day we have like 130, and we're like, how does that work, you know? But
it's crazy too, how much technology goes into kind of that side of a sale or that business, e-commerce, because it's not even just the ad space of getting people to your website. It's they didn't check out, because I'm full victim to this. I ordered from your guys' company probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. Needed an up on the replace, and I said I was going to do it one day. I went in, logged on the website, added it to my cart, filled out like all my information, and I had left my wallet in the car. And I was just like, yeah, I'll get to it tomorrow, or I'll get to it another day. Totally had forgotten. 2 or 3 days later, I got like an email from Replace, and it's like, hey, you forgot something in your cart. Like, quick, easy, click this link and you can go back to your checkout.
That's
and
that
everything was
Klaviyo reminder email.
Exactly. There's a ton of stuff to not like, okay, you've gotten them there, you've spent the money getting them there, they fell off. Now, how can you kind of retract it? And it's not even just someone who forgot to purchase, it's after purchase. I was saying it so much today. Like, I went through my emails just unsubscribing. I think I said it right before off record. I unsubscribed from so many random things that I purchased from in college, and my email just got thrown in their database for remarketing to. It's like going back to your customers and remarketing to them is huge.
Yeah, top of mind awareness. You're
definitely.
Awareness.
And I think one of the biggest marketing strategies that I've taken note on with entrepreneurs, very big influencers that have had successful businesses. I mean, we're talking Patrick Bet-David, we're talking Gary Vee. You all notice that they have this little thing in their bio on their Instagram that says text me at and their number. SMS marketing is crucial. We've started that in, I think it was July. We started SMS marketing with Attentive Mobile. No discount code on that, but I want to toot their horn because they have really helped us with our campaign management, segmenting our customers from different categories, because you're going to get all these text messages and it's going to be super annoying getting a message like that is really violating your privacy. And so if you can make that customer journey very specific, like this person, customer X, is buying specific products for cholesterol, so we're going to segment them to make sure that they're not getting bombarded by random emails or texts, for this matter, of other products that don't suit them, that it's not their need. And so working with Zeke, my controller or our social media manager and back end work, he and I and our marketing team have really done a good job of just getting super specific with our customers and making it just a good experience. And a lot of big companies have had issues with this. And I think to separate yourself from what we've seen on doing this work, that if you really want to succeed and take market share from these big dogs like NutriCost and Nature Made, those are some big competitors in our space, you have to just make it super personalized and give people the content they want to see, right?
Well, and you're setting yourself up for longer term success too, because you're already segmenting these people into specific groups based off of something that they've purchased, rather than most companies like a GNC, you go out and you buy from them, your email gets just thrown into, you get weight loss, you get mass gainer, and it's just like, wait, 1 week you're trying to tell me to lose weight, the next week you're trying to tell me to gain weight with like a supplement. Like you're so off the board here, you don't know where I am. It's just hit or miss. You're throwing a bone out there and hoping a dog gets it.
Yeah, and a great example of this is where I stole the idea of SMS marketing was from a book that I read. I can't think of it on the top of my head, but Vanguard, when they first started implementing email marketing campaigns, they did similar to what you guys do now, is like a fast-paced market update. Every week they'll do a market update. And that was, at the time, one of the first things from a financial services standpoint to really dive deep into the real estate market or, bonds market, breaking it down to segments and customers or people that would constantly get, I don't know what you call it, like accounts for Vanguard or newsletters. They did a really good job for a long time of attracting and keeping customers to use their platform, because they were simply just educating the consumer on what they think is going on in the market. And so we kind of take that, I kind of stole that idea and tried to implement that into our business. And all I'm striving to do is educating our customers on living healthier lifestyles, being more self-aware of, if you're sitting at your desk for 8 to 10 hours, how can you prevent back pain? Like, we have every week we have a topic or a blog post on our website that we will just, it could be anywhere from back pain to foods to avoid in the holiday season, and a lot of people have really enjoyed that, because we got like a target market of 45 plus, because that's kind of the market where people start becoming more self-aware of their triglycerides and their cholesterol levels. Yeah, you're starting to really take that serious. And so those blog posts have really been helpful for us to keep our customers happy and repurchase month to month.
I know you touched on it briefly during like the election day and that kind of thing. Do you think it's easier or more businesses are more prone to slowing down during this time of year, especially in like the fitness realm?
Like the burn months, like the fall, winter months,
Yeah,
are you saying?
because I mean, like weather's getting worse. Maybe, holidays are coming up. Maybe people aren't like working out as much or paying attention or much attention to their health, that kind of thing.
I think the advantage that a lot of these influencers have in the fitness space is their location. So if they're in Southern California, they can still go out and do an outdoor workout. Like Steve Cook's in Utah. He's a big influencer. He's done the, what's it called? The Biggest Loser. He's one of the hosts there, and he's in Utah. It's like 75 degrees and sunny, 300 days of the week or of the year. And of the week. And we have some people in Florida, and we have some people that are really big and influential depending on location. Like for me, I can barely go outside and run because it's going to be A, too dark, or B, cold as hell.
Rainy.
So yeah, I got Nick Bear from Nick Bear Fitness, BPN Fitness. He's in Texas, and right now in Texas, it's like 70 degrees and sunny. So he can wear no shirt, jogger shorts, and do his content where I'm here with my boys saying like, bro, I don't think this is worth doing any content.
Adapt and then throw it into a gym, and now you're
like I created a program.
The COVID, the big C, and dealing with all like there's so many issues when you run into things like that in the area you live in. It does truly matter, I guess, for long-term growth if you're talking 24/7 staying up on that game.
And when you really dive deep into the fitness space, you start to understand and realize that a lot of these influencers aren't actually talking in front of you. They're just showing you a workout and they're smiling, they're flexing. That's a red flag right there that they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. But when you look at Brian Fisher, if you look at Brian Fisher, he's well established. He's been in the CrossFit Games, Olympics, big name, and he is literally putting his phone down talking about macros and micros and what you should be eating, what you shouldn't be eating, and breaking things down to a science. I mean, he's got a kinesiology degree, nutritionist. Those guys are the people that you should actually be following, not these big booty bitches. You know what I'm saying?
It's a solid point to kind of segue into how toxic kind of the fake environment or like the influencer environment is on social these days. And how you could be following this person and totally believing, that they're this real estate millionaire. They've done this, they've done this, they've done this. And then it all to come and find out, they still live with their parents. It's houses that were for sale that they just took pictures of and went through and went on a tour. It's just like people can fake anything these days and make it look good and presentable.
Yeah, we got a lot of trust fund babies in this country, that's for sure. And that's a telltale sign, right? Like I saw a photo of a girl in like what looked like a private jet, and then someone exposed it. I think it was on Barstools, where you could see the backdrop and it looked like an office, but it had the jet like outside.
In LA, there's legit, you can rent it for like an hour. It's half of a private jet and it makes it look like you're in a private jet. So it's like, it's so you can make it look like you're doing anything that you want, and you've got tons of money to do it.
You just have to take a few steps back and think about their mental health. Like I really think long-term social media, if you don't use it the right way, then it will really hurt. It'll really hurt your mental approach and your mental health. It does, because if you're faking it for too long, it's gonna come. It's gonna come.
I have a question for Alex real quick.
There's someone here in Portland.
We're not gonna do
no,
this.
I'm not naming names. I'm just saying, like, we totally know that it's a for sure.
How do you know about this half private jet thing in LA? Did you look it up?
No, I've seen it on YouTube. People exposing it on YouTube. There's also one in like New York. It's like any hot influencer spot.
I'm sure
it's not just that. It's literally an agency for like photos or whatever, where you can go and there's tons of different backdrops and sets.
That's
there
ridiculous, bro.
So it's
That's
like
ridiculous.
you can fake. You can go in and you could fake being in a Mercedes, whatever.
You could do that at like a dealership.
I mean, you could do tons of stuff and make it look like you're whatever you want. But it's like how fake you can go.
If I see any posts of you in a private jet within the next 12 months, I'm going to know exactly where you got them taken.
It's been said on this podcast.
LA. So,
but do you guys think, and we talked about this off the record,
we should start it in Portland.
Do you think social media, since it's begun, is it a net negative or net positive to society?
I think it's a net negative.
We're talking society overall.
Society, just for people's health and
Overall, net negative.
I think it's a net
Business,
negative,
net
yeah.
positive.
But that's what it's for, is profits. Like the whole point of Facebook, Twitter, all that is the promotions and A/B split tests. My family's business wouldn't be where it's at without Facebook ads.
And so many people are out there. Like, it's the same thing, the same argument as, I hate Amazon. But then someone next to me is like, well, why do you hate Amazon? It's like, big box, this, that. And it's like, well, my mom's company only sells through Amazon, and it's how she makes her living. So it's just like, there's positives and negatives to everything out there. Don't get me wrong. It's just when you're looking at the full broad picture of social and how it started, it didn't start as a for-profit. It started as this free kind of posting. It's the same thing.
It was empty. It was an empty pipe of no information.
And then it went ads, and now they're adding people, influencers. You can, market through there. It's turned into this insane money-hungry game that anything that goes for-profit at the end of the day is going to turn into a detriment to society that fast, like, in my opinion.
Did you really expect it to stay not for profit though? Like, I mean, someone builds
Everything
this
is going to
super powerful program. Of course, they're going to want to monetize it.
You could at one point in time go back to where Facebook had that dilemma in I'm sure their office, where they said, look, here's what's on the table here. We got XYZ companies offering up this to provide a new algorithm on our processing system to where we make XYZ. But we do know if we do that, then this is what's going to happen to society's mental health. They were fully aware. If you've watched Social Dilemma, I don't know how far they're leaning towards an agenda. Like, you look at the vegetarian documentary. Like, I don't know how far they're going.
The Olympic one.
Yeah, that one.
When you do the research behind it. I think I was texting
that dude was taking steroids. That was a vegetarian. That guy was lifting serious weight.
All the doctors the people that, like,
I forgot what it was called.
It was some
Beyond Meat, or like,
it was something, but
I don't remember.
It boiled down to it. I texted you and I was like, I'm going vegan, and you're like, nah. That's all it's a fad. And I was like, okay, let me look into it a little bit more. Every person who was in that documentary that spoke, like, doctor wise, or they had all the facts, were so far pro vegan that it, like, they had no bias in there. Like, there was no one that was on the other side.
Let's not get too carried away about it, because I just wanted to make a point. I just think at one point they did know what this would do, and they still looked the other way. Because when they brought up in Google, this is where it started, a few high execs were talking about, hey, like, we're diving into privacy here, and we're really messing with people mentally because we're showing them this, and this, because they're liking this, and it's, we're purposely trying to feed you information that's going to keep you on the
longer
platform.
And more attracted to it.
Yeah. And when you watch The Social Dilemma, I don't want to spoil it too much, but literally their algorithm is geared towards how long when you're swiping your phone and you look at a video or a picture, they're clocking you how long you're on that. And then if you hit a threshold, then they're like, oh, he or she likes that content. Let's keep feeding him that. And that all changed pretty recently. And so I just am very curious to see where we're going to head with this, if we're going to put any limits, because they're already starting to censor.
Well, also, like cookies. Like, when we're
I got no problem with cookies.
When I was younger, though, like high school, elementary school, browsing the internet, I don't remember having to click like accept cookies so many goddamn times on a website.
I don't mind that.
Like they made it a mandatory requirement.
You have to like show people, because at that point when we were growing up, like, that's when they were first starting to implement it, and that's when people were like, what the heck is going on?
Do you think, though, that, your guys' company would be where it is without social media? I mean, I know you talked about Amazon, but I'm talking social media specifically. And another point to this, alcohol. Everyone knows alcohol is bad for you. Right. And yet it's still allowed to be made, sold in large quantities. Why would social media all of a sudden have to say, hey, you can only have 3 hours a day on Facebook?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that is you can break that and dissect that into a few discussions or debates. First
I don't
answer.
think they ever will.
No, they won't. It's too hard now to filter out all this information. But your first question, my answer to that is probably not as fast. Yeah. But we probably would have found a different way, like text messaging marketing. At the end of the day, marketers fuck up everything. You get into emailing, everyone overdoes it with emails. Now everyone's annoyed with emails. You get into texting, we're starting to see it.
Calling,
people are so annoyed of texts by other companies. Like it started with like weed CBD companies giving you 10% off, and then like now everybody in the whole industry, retail industry, is sending texts.
New Seasons sends me a new text every single week about some stupid deal, and it's like.
And the iOS system finally segmented your text messages to where you can categorize them.
Well,
so you can put them in spam.
Any new advertising brings a new type of like phishing scam.
It's going to keep going. So full
text
loop.
message, like phishing scams that come from text message advertising. It's just like, God, like, this is insane.
For reference,
it never stops.
I have 611 unread text messages right now.
That stresses me out. Like emails, I'm okay with.
Marketing.
I mean, a lot of them are of like just random phone numbers.
Yeah, just automatically swipe and delete it because
you can filter them.
Why
though,
keep them?
You know?
Oh yeah, no, you can have. It's the same thing as having like a primary and whatever on your Instagram, so that you don't get the stupid spam accounts on Instagram. You can primary and general your inbox. So you don't even have to look at like your general. But yeah, I mean, technology's forever going to continue to allow it to happen because so many businesses thrive from that. It's a byproduct of it, and they're not going to give that up because at the end of the day, that's how they make their money.
I think so too. I think
I had a question for you. I forgot what it was.
Let's hear it.
I forgot what it was.
It'll come back. It always comes back.
I totally forgot what it was.
But I think if we can close that conversation, I do think it's one of those things where, as far as business goes, it's phenomenal. It works. I strongly suggest everyone that runs a business, whether it's I don't even know what industry it is. Either way, even if it's like real estate or if it's retail or if it's anything to provide a service, Facebook, Instagram, like I even TikTok nowadays, you can A/B split test, or Snapchat, you can A/B split test, and it's very effective and it's not expensive at all. It's like a week before the elections, it was expensive because, you know, Biden and Trump's campaigns were throwing millies out left and right on the cost per click. We literally saw our cost per click go from $1.12 to like $8 for one day, and it was the day before the elections.
Oh yeah, I would not doubt that.
Bizarre, but it's effective, you know. And I just think for business, it works. Do it. But if you're a person, be very mindful and aware of what it's doing to you mentally, and that's it.
You need to figure out, put yourself in a consumer's shoes. Like it happens to you every single day. So if you're gonna go out and start a business, or you have a business and you're gonna start doing this, think how you would feel and try and make it less.
Well, it's like the law of attraction, dude. Like, not to get foo-foo on this shit. Fugazi. But like law of attraction, like you post positive things come back to you. And that's what all I strive to do, you know, like provide value on my social, and be a positive influence in life. Like, I'm not trying to prove anything. Like, yeah, I'm in the fitness space and I show my physique, but it's not like I'm better than you. I'm like, yo, if you want to get to a physique at this level, like, this is what it takes. And like, I'm showing you what I do every day, like my workouts, and
it's not like
it's not anything like that. Like, extreme.
I'm a PhD in fitness and I've got nutrition, this, that. And it's just like, no,
like, look at me.
I've done the simple ass research, and this is me breaking down. This is me paraphrasing what I've done.
What works for me.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, that's it, you know.
Social media is a tool.
Yeah.
And it's dependent on how you use that tool, how it's going to impact you in your daily life. Okay, question for you that I remembered.
We got it. Let's go.
Like you just talked about, you're in the fitness game.
Yeah.
How are you both in business, fitness, personal growth, staying locked in when you wake up and it's 34 degrees, raining, and pitch black outside, and then you're getting out of the warehouse after work and it's 34 degrees, raining, and pitch black outside?
I'll tell you what, it's not that bullshit thing that Simon Sterick says, find your why. I find that the most overused quote, and what he means is great. Like, what he's trying to say makes sense, but the way people use that are overusing it, and I just don't think your why is a lot, and it's enough for a lot of people, but at the end of the day, it's your mindset, and it's that classic Cam Hanes quote, nobody cares, work keep working or work harder. Nobody cares, work harder.
Yeah.
That's my mindset, man. Like, it doesn't end. Like, it doesn't end. Your priorities should be your health, your wealth, and your faith, right? Like, not in that particular order, but like, you want to take care of yourself, you want to take care of the people around you, and you want to take care of your financials, right? Like your 3 F's: fitness, faith, family, or whatever, 4 F's: financials. But
I mean, everyone sees it differently.
I really
certain
don't
ways.
have a specific why. I have really good reasons, but at the end of the day, I've built a mindset that I've calloused in my head to where I always revisit these scenarios in my head, like my cousin dying. I have him tattooed on my right arm. Like, I think about that shit every morning, and like, I think about these crazy scenarios where, what if my mom or dad gets cancer like tomorrow? Like, I revisit these scenarios, and it sounds lucrative. Like, you guys are probably like, what the fuck?
I'm sitting here
wrong with
thinking,
you?
like, dude,
Lucrative.
Lucrative is you meant ludicrous.
Ludicrous.
Lucrative.
Ludicrous.
is like
Your business is making money.
Words are hard for me.
But
ludicrous.
No, initially me sitting here, it's like, yeah, you should probably talk to a therapist there. But no, since I know you as a friend, I'm totally in that same mindset. I get it. But yeah, no, that was all I had to say there.
And I have like quotes that I put
At
up.
least
Like,
it wasn't me this episode.
yeah, I'm not
Student
the one
debt.
going bananas right now. But yeah, I just have a few routines that I have in the morning that really help me just start my day, and that's how I stay consistent. Like, you got Jocko that's posting his watch every morning, and like, maybe that's like a trigger for him to like stay accountable for himself. But really, I just have like 2 or 3 things that I do every single morning that keeps me driven. And I'm not every single morning, especially recently, I'm not getting up extremely early just to do it, to like prove it. Because I do think there's that argument that you can say it's not how early you get up in the day, it's how much you get done in the day. And so I'm really pro that
I
mindset.
think there's big cycles in it, and it goes into, you were saying, the why or the purpose, finding the why to what you do. It's like, don't get me wrong, I've found my why, but 2-3 months from now, you might lose.
It's still
that,
not
and
enough.
You still need to you got to find your way back to it. It's the same thing. You always have to find a new way. You're going to have something on top of mind, and then it's going to fall off, and you're going to have to find a way back to it. And so it's ups and downs, highs and lows of everything, and it's how can you kind of average those out to be where your mindset is staying level throughout all those highs and lows.
Yeah, I look at it like this, man. Like, you'll have extreme, like, you'll be very consistent. Like, I'm very consistent, but I will have extreme lows just because recently I've just been working really quite a bit, and my motivation for fitness, for that matter, is pretty low. But it really stems down to your habits and taking ownership of everything. Like, no one owes you anything. No one has to believe in your dream. You have to believe in yourself before anything really happens. And so that's my whole mindset. Like, everyone can tell you whatever they think. Like, Neil Armstrong will tell Elon Musk that I don't think this is a good idea going to Mars. But that really hit him hard. Like, if you watch that video on YouTube of like his reaction to that, like, he looked like he was about to cry, but he still just said, I know this is what my purpose is. And like, his daily habits are ridiculous. Like, this man is working on 4 businesses, I think 5 now, because you're including Neuralink.
Well, he also added his tequila
brand too. Yeah, that's new too.
That was it came out as a joke. So
Yeah.
it's just like the crazy.
Why not?
I almost shared it on my Instagram today. It was like, it doesn't matter what you do, what you offer, any service, product, or whatever you sell. If someone can get behind who you are,
Yeah.
and the brand that you build, like, you could come up with anything, and it sold out in minutes. Tesla tequila.
Not surprised.
It was like a $300 bottle of tequila, and it sold out in minutes. And
That's
it's just
crazy.
Like,
it's brilliant.
He built a brand, and it's himself, Elon Musk, and people will do anything, like whatever he comes out with, people are going to buy.
Well, let me argue this. If you're a big name brand, you're a cool brand, right? Like, you're like a Nike, or you're like one of those brands that everyone recognizes, like a Tesla. We're in an era where you can technically get out of your industry and do something completely random, and like a tequila brand with your Tesla logo on it, and sell. Like, what if Nike came out with, a Nike car. Like, you know, it sounds preposterous, but what if they did that? Like, do you think it would sell?
They came out with the Nike bikes in Portland, and they're a huge hit.
Same thing with, like, you know, Apple. Like, if Apple branched into something other than phones and stuff like that, I personally think it would still sell no matter what in minutes because they've built such a strong brand.
Right, and that's why brand is so big.
Backtracking a little bit before we get too far gone, I want to touch on what you said. I know you referred to Cam Hanes, no one cares, work harder.
Yeah.
And you also talked about, you know, find your why and use your why as the motivation being overused and played out.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more with that. It's kind of like that whole ideology or the belief that, like, the word love, you know, like when you're young, you're
use
like,
it way too much.
Use it
or
way
never
too
give
much.
up.
Yeah.
Use
like,
love for everything.
But, like, you know, love means something. I think your why means something. So there's got to be, like, passion, feeling, and emotion behind your why. And that, like, that drives you. That is, like, the deep down belief behind everything you're doing. But then there's those, like, daily goals and the daily challenges where it's like no one cares about you're tired right now. Just go do it.
Yeah,
that working endurance.
The world doesn't owe you anything. And if you have that ability to tell yourself no one cares, work harder, and you're going to go earn today, you're going to go earn whatever you get today, that's when I think your why is powering that mentality of I'm going to go get it. I don't care what anyone else thinks. Yeah. And like you said, you're going to have some ups and downs, but if you can have more ups than you do downs in terms of daily count, you're going to be okay in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah. And just don't worry what people think. Like, you get so stressed out and consumed with trying to post content. Maybe, I know I did for a brief stint, but at the end of the day, like, you just have to keep moving. Like, you have to keep working, like, and you have to stop worrying about the opinions of other people. Like, they can make fun of you. Like, dude, working for your parents and telling people that you make dietary supplements is not the sexiest thing to tell people, you know? Like, what can you tell people
that was me when I sold printers and copiers.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's hard. It's not something that I am motivated to talk about 24/7 because, like, I'm attracted to it. It's just like, great, there's good money there, but it is such a dull topic to bring up.
There's something to be said about working in silence, you know, and I write a lot of my stuff down, like that, my thoughts.
There's a lot of sayings that it says, you know, like go and work in silence and, like, watch everyone, like, show people by,
and we're in an era where everyone likes to show what they do. There's something to be said about when someone has massive success, and sure, they might have written it down in, like, a journal. Like, that's kind of what I'm doing, my thoughts. Like, every book that I read, I take some bits and snippets and I write it in a journal. I took that from what's his name? He was on my podcast. I'll just call him Mr. Overseas. He was on my podcast, and he talked about how he did that for about 15 years. He wrote down, like, his, like, thoughts that stuck with him and would revisit them every year. Like, every day he would just read a quote, and he would articulate it. Wow, words are just tough for me today. And just think about that quote and what it means to him, and just that helps a lot, I think, with your journey. Like, when you just work extremely hard and you don't have this, I guess, attraction or urgency to, like, show people, display people what you're doing, like, I don't know, I find that way more gratifying to present something that is an end product. Like, let's say for you guys in real estate, instead of you telling people, like, I guess that's kind of tough for me because I'm not in that space, but like, like, selling every single house, I think you guys should share, but, like, being overdoing it and, like, posting, like, step by step what you do in the houses, like, I don't know, I just feel like that's kind of overdoing it and kind of stresses you out.
That's a solid point, because I was just about to say, it's something that when I was sitting down trying to figure out, like, what's content that I can post, what are things that I need to, like, get out there, and I'm just trying to, like, push the agenda, like, oh, okay, pre-approval, this, like, certain specific things that are so oriented to my industry that it's got to be useful. But then it's like, that wasn't the route, and the route that's been, like, the best in my head and been the easiest to kind of produce content for and push it out is just something that I've learned and pushing it out there, because if I'm learning it, someone else could be learning it too.
And that's trial and error.
It's so easy to
It might work for Trent. but
it's
it might not work
but
for
half
you.
the shit isn't even about mortgages or anything. Like, it's literally a random life tip. Like, don't compare yourself to others. Like, compare yourself to yourself and see, like, where you go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no point in comparing your current self to someone else's past self to current self and see where you've been.
Yeah.
Just little things like
100%.
that.
Hear me out.
Let's hear you out.
So I think I just found a correlation, maybe I'm not the first one, between social media and your work ethic, right?
Definitely.
And because social media has such a big impact on lives today. People with that kind of silent mentality work ethic, right? Where you don't care what other people are going to say about you. The world doesn't owe you anything, so you're going to go work and get it.
Yeah.
Just like the other person that tells you that you suck, they don't owe you that. They just decided to do that. You didn't earn that, so you don't want it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But if you have that silent mentality work ethic where you're not having to post it all over social media, not having to overdo it with content, and yeah, you're going to celebrate your wins, but you're going to post it because you're excited about it, and maybe someone else will be. You don't care how many likes you get. You don't care how many new followers you get because that doesn't matter. Those people don't owe you the follow. They don't owe you the like. If they like it and they want to follow you to support you, great. Those are the people that you want in your corner.
Respond to them too.
But same with the work ethic. Don't fake it like you would on social media. Hey, new listing. It's not even your listing. It's just a listing on the MLS that you wouldn't open the lockbox for or whatever it is. Like, you don't have to fake your work ethic. If you are working hard, even though it's in silence, someday people are going to see what you did and really appreciate your work ethic and not having to be the person that everyone knows their next move and you talk this big game, but you can't ever back it up. Just like social media. Social media is a way for people to talk a big game behind a screen.
Yep.
And they don't have to back it up because no one's there to fact check them. But if you can hold yourself accountable, have integrity, and have that self-discipline, you're going to be successful on social media and
that's it.
in life.
That's it right there. That's the.
So I guess kind of being the devil's advocate there, if you don't post everything and give people the opportunity to kind of respond and highlight what you are good at, I'm just trying to like play both sides here. It's just like, if for someone who is in that situation where they just post every single bit of their day, anything they're doing, they're posting, and if people are relating to it and it's like solid for them, I'm just trying to think, there's happy mediums for both sides. Some people really hit it off with posting, I'm getting coffee, I'm getting lunch, I'm doing this, I'm going to the bathroom, I'm brushing my teeth, I'm every bit of their day.
Yeah, let me jump in.
I can't do that.
Here comes the flames.
This is on the top of my mind. This is on the top of my mind. So two great examples that would be great for people that want to show the journey, right? Like Gary Vee always talks about, like, if you don't have any experience, just show what you're doing right now. Someone running like a really small coffee shop downtown, super vibey culturally, like, I don't know, like, is fitting the mold for like Portland. I would think it'd be really cool if like he or she was constantly showing them the growth and like the vibe that it is at the coffee shop and like posting a lot, just telling people about like new flavors, blah, 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 like stuff like that.
New drink. This,
great.
That.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. You started from zero and you're growing. And for that brand, I think that's a great idea. And vice versa for a YouTuber, man. If you're a YouTuber, I don't know how you stay mentally intact because you have to be so consistent with your content.
Down to the minute.
It would stress me out. Stress me out, dude. Yeah. I know a guy, well, I don't know him personally, but I've been watching his stuff because he follows a bunch of, he's surrounded with a lot of fitness influencers. His name's Max Tuning. Dude posts 2 very quality videos a week. And I can tell, bro, he's losing it right now. Like the videos he's been posting, he's in Texas and he has a house that has been having like gas leaks and like all these issues. And like he's going berserk right now. Like you can tell like the stress of the election, the stress of the COVID. He's been doing YouTube for like 5 years, 2 videos a week. Like, dude, there's no way that doesn't take a toll on you if you really don't love it at times where it like fucks with you in your head.
Oh, dude, and
that's your business. You have to do it or else you're...
I see it so often with YouTubers that I watch where they've blown up in their first like 2 or 3 months. Prime example, guy's name is Air Rack, and he's going for crazy
Again,
amount of
specific
subscribers.
shout-outs.
I mean, he gave a specific shout out. Anyways, this guy's going for like straight 1 million followers in 12 months, and you could see his videos in the first like 6 months were just bonkers, off the wall, high quality, everything to the T, T's crossed, I's dotted, everything. And ever since then, he's like peaked, and it's slowly but surely. You could tell it's like the burnout. It's like, how do I keep up when it's not reliving or giving me what I've wanted? You know, those people that are out there for such that the reward of subscribers, likes, comments, like the high of getting the social media gratification, and they're not getting that, and they're putting all this work in, and it's not getting there. It's just like you can see it happen in people's body language and tone in videos.
I think the escape is like what Logan Paul did with the impulsive. Once you start a podcast and you can record it, you got all the studio like stuff. You can, I mean, he's got a lot of money, so he can just pay people to come on.
I was gonna say, I mean, he says
he did it right.
He says it a ton. He's like, dude, I burnt out so many times in the YouTube game, and I've had to take a month off and figure out how I can come back in a different content style way and make me happy. And that's why he stopped posting his vlogs, his little David Dobrik 5-minute vlogs, because those weren't making him happy. Even he said, he's like, I'm not like fulfilled by this. This isn't something I enjoy to do. I have to wake up and it's a task that's on my agenda.
Yeah, you have to be very creative.
I get to go, I wake up and I'm just living my life, and then, here's a camera and it's happens to be there.
What a shitty life.
I mean,
it's fake.
They complain about it, and it's just like it's so hard on them. But really,
oh my God, I make $1 million for every video
I post. Yeah, no.
Oh my God, I'm selling cars, and people retweet and repost them.
Such third
you
world.
were here, it's the culprit.
First world,
yeah. God, damn.
You guys need to shock it into place. Do you have any supplements for that to wake you up?
Brain activity.
Hey, you could take some choline, some L-arginine. That's probably going to be by tar trait. Yeah, that's probably the best.
It'll be in the bio. It'll be in the
link in bio.
Yeah, link
I think
in bio.
it's a solid point. Should we kind of dive into? I know.
Well, this is a real estate podcast. We could talk about real estate. I have been looking into it.
You are prime into diving into the game.
Yeah,
I guess let's just have you ask us questions, whether that's real estate, mortgage related, and then if we have questions off of that, we can kind of just have a conversation based off of your discoveries of real estate.
We could be very specific for Oregon and like the Portland area. Because really what I've been doing for folks that are in my situation, you know, like I've been saving up and looking at different ways to basically go about my strategy with getting a loan and ways to put down my first down payment. You know, you got the FHA opportunity, you got your conventional, you got a few other ways you can go about it, USDA or VA. And I've just been thinking about, like, how do I want to go about my first house, right? Like, that's the biggest stress that a lot of people have. Like, that's a FAQ, right? Like, how should I go about? Should my mindset should be, do I go duplex route and then rent out the other half and like fixer upper, or do I go like the BRRRR strategy, which you guys have like time after time been talking about on this? We don't really have to dive deep about defining it, but basically getting like pretty much not broken down, but like a house that you can basically fix up.
Needs
and
a little
like,
love.
Yeah, become a rental over time. Or do you go, you know, this is like the most common route is like, oh my God, like I'm married and I aspire to have this really nice house and we can afford it. We might have to take a loss for a few months and go lean, but like, is that a good strategy? Like,
no.
if you want wealth, how do you go about your strategy?
Not that one.
Yeah, I can already tell.
It's hard because you're going to get people who are so, I'm only buying one house. I'm only living in this house for the rest of my life. And this is the house, like, I'm saving up for my dream house and we're going to do this.
But convince me to not. Why? Why not?
I mean, those are people who don't see the value in building wealth. That's your ordinary person who's going to work a job for 40 to 50 years.
Because what's limited?
And
land.
And retire and call that their life.
Right.
Versus someone who's eagerly trying to increase income through real estate, build wealth through real estate.
Yeah. There's a difference between rich and wealth.
So what I'm saying is those people who are going out there and buying their dream home right off the bat are someone who is literally going to stay there and keep that house for the rest of their life. And very one-off. So not many people see not many people do that. Many people get into their first home and it's a small little crack home. Home. And then they upgrade and then they upgrade and they get to their dream home. But a lot of people go straight to that route. But for an investor side of things, it's not going to be your best move to go after the most qualification that you can go after. It's like, why not go after 2 smaller pieces and qualify for both of them and get 2 units under your belt versus one massive property?
You want to jump in on that?
Yeah, I think, like Alex said, there's different avenues that people approach real estate with.
Yeah.
For the people that, and I would say it's actually less than you would expect, buy a house and stay in it for 30 years plus. It's very rare. The average person moves every 7 years. So these people that buy like, oh, I want this 3-bed, 2-bath with a yard and a swing set. I'm going to stay here forever. These people buy the house and then 7 years later, like, they had twins or they're having another kid.
Outgrow it.
Now all of a sudden it's not big enough when their plan was to stay here long term. Well, yeah, the property probably appreciated over those 7 years. They probably built some wealth, but they didn't build as much wealth as they could have because they maxed out their budget on a liability. Your primary residence is a liability because it's not making you money and it's costing you money every month. Yeah, it's growing and it's appreciating, and you're paying down your principal loan amount and all that good stuff, but it's still a liability.
Yeah.
Where if you are young, let's take your recently married young couple, because I did it. If you go straight to the single family house, yeah, like I said, it's going to appreciate all that good stuff, but you have no source of a revenue from that property.
Right.
If you bought a 2, 3, or 4 unit with the same loan program,
yeah, they're the exact same loan program.
Treated the exact same.
Differ. Yeah.
You could have 1, 2, or 3 additional units aside from the one that you live in. So not only are you getting that appreciation that you would get in the single family house, but you're also getting revenue from the other units, sometimes even making money while living there. And if you're not making money, you have 3 other units paying down that loan, and it's going to reduce your output very drastically.
Yep.
And you're going to build wealth on typically a larger asset because, like, let's take a duplex, for example. If someone was going to buy a $500,000 house versus a $500,000 duplex, they probably wouldn't be able to qualify for the duplex. Let's say they could. Let's say
why?
Because
it's probably a little complicating. But
it's different now because you can't use the rent from the duplex as qualifying income anymore,
unless you have 12
a year.
months
a year of experience.
Rent. Okay, but I'll let you finish that.
Yeah. But so let's say they qualified for $500 regardless, just based off their income. If they bought that $500,000 single family house, like I said, liability, they don't have any income coming in. Let's say it appreciates over the next 10 years, and all of a sudden it's worth $600,000. Great appreciation decade. $600,000. Now this duplex was bought for $250 a unit. Now all of a sudden 10 years later, it's worth $600,000 as well. But over those 10 years, you've had your expenses reduced over,
if not
those
all.
months.
Yeah.
If not making money. And most likely, if you move every 7 years, you're probably going to move out of that. Now you have 4 units paying you, and you're in a different house, and you can use the 4 units revenue to qualify for your single family house that you want to buy later.
See, that was a good point.
I think
because a lot of that times it's not defined on bigger pockets is okay job of explaining that, but
going off of that too, for someone who is single in that situation and doesn't have a significant other to qualify extra income wise, and they want to go after that duplex, and it's going to be a little bit harder. Yes, you have to have more income. If you can't go after that, doesn't mean that you're just completely shit out of luck. There's still a house hack opportunity where you can go and buy single family and then rent it out because you don't have that, you don't have a significant other that you have to worry about other people in the house.
Yeah.
If you're single going out there, house hacking is another way to basically expedite that process to move out of that next house and get into another one.
And you can, if you house hack, you can use that 12 months as landlord experience, because if you get a lease signed, now you can keep that property on a lease. You can use that income as qualifying income to then buy your next one.
That's good.
Yeah, so house hacking is, as a single person, is probably going to be the better route unless you're just making killer money and can qualify for a duplex
or you find
on
a
your
good
own.
deal,
or you find a solid deal where quickly you can get that other half of your.
But let's break down the duplex idea. So let's say I throw down payment $50K on a duplex, just throwing it out as an example. Walk me through, if you want to improve that duplex, like let's say you got someone to rent. So you have like, no, let's not even say that. You want to have a duplex, but you want to improve it so you can eventually make that a 2-lot rental. Walk me through the story of like the issues that you might arise through that. Cause like, obviously you're not going to have, experience from day one of like how to flip a house, right? Like
prime for Trent to literally just talk about his duplex.
Okay.
I guess a follow-up question, where
like contractors, like the issues with contractors and like,
well, okay, but are you buying a duplex in hopes to add value to it through remodeling?
In hopes.
Okay. So if you put $50K down, I mean, I would talk to Alex and figure out, can I put less down and still have the payment make sense? Mm-hmm. If you can,
exactly what
then
I was gonna say.
Then you're going to have a rehab budget. If let's say one of the units is maybe a little outdated, it's livable, but you don't like you might not get the max rent for it.
Right.
That might be a good thing.
Yeah.
Where you rent that out for maybe a little bit below market value, but you're still getting revenue. Mm-hmm. And then you can live.
You have to be still attractive to the market, right? Like,
yeah, but if you have an outdated unit, someone's going to rent it for the right price. I do it every single day. I know how it goes.
Yeah.
I've rented bunko properties out just for the right price.
There's someone out there always looking for a place to stay.
Yeah. But so if you can rent that other unit out and then live in one and renovate that one, and you put less down, so you still have a renovation budget to use. I see. Now you're renovating one unit. When let's say these tenants move out, they give notice, they've been there for a year, they're done.
Right.
You rent the unit that you renovated out for more, move over to this next unit. By that time, hopefully you've saved up a couple more bucks, and you're getting more in rent for the other side. So now your expenses decrease every month. Then you can turn that unit that you're living in now, the outdated one, increase the rent for that one, and then
I see.
There's also
that makes a lot of sense.
In my eyes, there's also another route where if you've got a duplex and you've got one side that's updated and one side that's not, you as a single person could go into the outdated unit and rent the other one out for high price, update the outdated unit while you're living in it, and then by the time everything's ready to go, you're ready to qualify for your next home, and now both units are renting out at high price. So there's just
that's a good point.
There's other ways to look.
Strategy. I mean, you can go different ways.
It's easier to update something when you live in it if it's dilapidated like that versus trying to coordinate with, okay, they're moving out and I've got a month to try and get this finished and updated and back on the market.
2 weeks.
I was gonna say
you got 2 weeks.
It gets versus when you're living in it, it's up to you. You could work on updating the cabinets, small micro touches, and all of a sudden, okay, you've saved a ton of money this whole time because you're paying the cheaper side of your mortgage and they're paying the more expensive side since it's an updated unit, and you've saved all the dollars, and then boom, now you can go and qualify and put the next down payment on your next house. So it's just like that could be a quicker route. You just need to look at each property is going to be different. Each one's going to have a different rent to it, and each one might make more sense, whether it is living in the updated unit versus the outdated unit. It's just different.
Yeah, it's totally situational. I mean, I'm talking off of like theory here because I obviously haven't gone through any experience in that space, and Bigger Pockets does a really good job of explaining it. So you guys explaining like scenarios of people going through XYZ, right? But that's like a bit on the top of my head is duplex investing and how that works.
If I could have like a person that could qualify for a duplex, has, the grit and determination to really like smash a house hack out of the park, they would buy a duplex, whether it's top, bottom, unit, side by side, whatever, like it with an ADU. So a house with an ADU. Let's say the house is a 3-bed, 2-bath, and the ADU is a studio or a 1-bed, 1-bath. If you're really grimy and gritty, you would buy that property, rent the 3-2, live in the 1-1 or the studio. Your mortgage is basically going to be covered, if not making money. And now you have this awesome 3-2 rental, and you're just grinding in the studio or one bedroom.
Brings up another
it's a literal foolproof proof way.
Foil proof.
Foil proof way
Glad I'm not the only one on this podcast. But no,
of just creating a portfolio.
What you just said there
all of us have goofed up.
brings up another great point, because if you are going to look at a property like that and you say, oh, I have $50,000 to put down, well, hey, maybe it doesn't make sense to put the full 50 down, and it only makes sense to get you in minimal down payment, and then you use their covering your mortgage in year 1-1. You pay rent still. Say you put $600 for whatever your room is you're renting, and now you're paying more than what your mortgage is. You're getting faster to your 20%.
Yeah.
And then you still have this side cash where you could go and put it on another home. It could be another 3% down payment on another home. So you could technically go after 2 by splitting your down payment and knowing that, hey, I've got this house fully rented out and they're paying my mortgage. I don't have to pay the $600, but it's easy, it's feasible. And now it gets me to that 20% where I'm not paying PMI and all the goods with that. So
right there, what you guys...
Each scenario is so different.
Yeah, right there, a lot of people don't get that. They don't understand that. Like, they don't even have the effort or audacity to even, like, become interested in that route.
No.
Right? Like,
and
it's just like, let's get a house, we're happy.
It's partly my job is to try and be like, yo, these are your options, not just... hey, get a mortgage, do this, pay it off, boom. It's just like, no, like full financial picture. Like, where's your end goal? What are you trying to do? Okay, like let's tailor this program to what you're trying to do to get you into this next home faster, and yada, yada, yada. You know, it's just having that personal touch and having someone is so much better than just getting a mortgage and living that mortgage out. You can do so much with it.
Funny story about the whole timeline and process of growing your real estate portfolio. My wife and I are talking about moving into a single family house, right? I just got done telling everyone, start with multifamily, which we did. We have 6 units now, all right?
That's big time.
But my wife is sick and tired of living in a duplex. I'm getting sick and tired of living in a duplex. I want a freaking shed and a garage and stuff. I got a mustache. I want to be manly, right? This manly mustache.
I just want to let this thing purr.
Needs to fly. Anyway, so we're looking at moving into a single family house. The one thing that kills me every time I see it is when someone, especially young people, because they have time, they don't have kids, whatever, like they have a lot of freedom in their life still, goes out and buys like a tract home, new development, new construction, because your comps are solely tied to the other new construction in that development, and so your appreciation is going to be controlled by the other properties.
There's no forced appreciation.
Yeah. And so my wife is like, okay, where are we going to move? Like, I want to move. And I go, we're going to move to a dump.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, I will not buy a renovated house, because even though I want to live in a single family house, I do not want to overpay for it. I want to be the one to get the equity out of it. I want to be the one to put the time and effort into it so I can reap the benefits.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
It'd be a lot easier to buy a renovated house.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make as good a financial sense, and so I just cannot get myself to do it.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine living in a single family 3-2 with a backyard and a swing set, but I need to be able to put the swing set in.
Yeah. I mean, it's just that it goes into right there, when I'm sitting there
flexing on us while it says that too.
I'm talking to someone about a loan, and that's one side of the relationship, and the other side of the relationship is I want to live in something that's nice. I don't want to have to put work into it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, now I'm the middle person. I'm like the therapist in the situation, trying to talk both sides into figuring out what's the happy ground for both of them, and it's so hard when you're talking like that to try and convince both sides to see the picture of, well, hey, like more wealth on this side versus more expenses on this side, like which one do you want to go for? And 90% of the time it's the female sitting in the relationship going, I want the clean house. I don't want to live in, I don't want to do any work. I just want
That's another thing too. If you're not in the space, then it's very hard to persuade either your husband or wife reasons to why you should do this.
If you do need help persuading your husband or wife, check out Trent Werner on biggerpockets.com. I had a post about it. One thing I did want to touch on with what Alex was just saying, he's correct. Not everyone wants to get gritty and start ripping out walls and stuff like that. However, it's always better to own than to rent. So if you are that person that wants to track home and wants to, get some...
We're not shooting it down.
No. Go do it.
Yeah.
And, if you don't want a bunch of yard maintenance or whatever, go buy a townhouse. you're still building equity through real estate and building your wealth.
Yeah.
It's just a different avenue.
I think there's just a way you could go and do that and then take building your equity and not just sitting in that single home, take your equity and go and pay someone to do the work on a shitty house that you find and force that equity. And you're basically, you're splitting with them at that point because you're paying the cost. There's more to it than just the American dream that people speak of going out and buying your white picket fence house. God,
I thought he was going to say something completely different.
we all three.
I thought he was going to say something completely different.
White picket fence house. That's
think
the American dream, It's just you buy your one house and you got your family.
Get a Ford Mustang.
Cook your grills. Yeah.
I think what we can conclude to this, though, is
there's so many different ways to do it.
Yeah, but it comes down to work ethic, man. Like, if you want it, you can get it.
You can get it faster if you want it. You can get it regardless. No matter what route you take.
Yeah. It's just how aggressive you want to go about it.
You have to put in a lot more.
You got a mustache, you'll get it grimy. You'll get grimy.
If you want it fast. If you want it slow, then you're paying someone else to do it.
Right. And that's just a lot of personality and work ethic on how you want to go about your route. Like, for me, the way I see it, started jump on you on there, but the way I see it is to create massive wealth, you either A, get into real estate, or B, own a business. Anything else is like some con shit,
Going
multi-level marketing.
Going off of that, in real estate, you create the most wealth, like in a direct correlation with the problems that you solve. Mm-hmm. So if you buy this, falling down, half standing building and you make it nice again, that's when you're going to make the most wealth. Mm-hmm. Versus if you buy that perfect brand new construction, you're gonna build your wealth, but you're not gonna make as much. And so you get paid in direct correlation with the problems that you solve, right?
Right. There's a property, I forget what street it was on, but it's somewhere here in Portland. It was trashed, absolutely trashed. There was graffiti all over it, and the whole Black Lives Matter stuff graffitied all over this place. And it's in a neighborhood where
you'll be calling out Black Lives Matter around this podcast right now, right?
All the other stuff is $1 million plus homes, and it was listed through the bank at like $499,999 or whatever. Builders,
I almost wrote an offer on it.
I was gonna say no actual person ended up getting an offer in. It was all builders and people that were gonna come in and make it pretty again because they get so much equity in that.
They listed it at $400 to start.
Oh, I saw this on Facebook as like a Business Insider article that was like, this is crazy what's going on right here. This property is being listed at this low, and the neighboring properties were like 1.2, 1.1.
Wow. So it came on, the lowest comp in the whole area was $800,000. Like there was two that were at $800,000. It came on at $400,000, and me and AJ were talking about it, and I go, dude, like, this would be a home run.
A gold, yeah.
But it would be a big project. It's a massive house.
Windows were screwed.
Everything's done.
It was like a mansion that was screwed.
But then literally 2 days later, they upped it to $499 because people started hearing about it, and they're like, oh.
Scuttle.
Like, if we would have submitted an offer and just taken it right there,
that would have been off.
It would have been a huge deal.
8 builders.
And you get a separate lot. You get 2 lots.
Wow. It was insane.
It'd be a very challenging project, but dude, so rewarding if you can execute it.
You're making $400,000 to $500,000 on it.
I was gonna say, you go into the ordinary person can't do that. So who's gonna bid on it best? Are contractors, and those are the ones who want it because they can do the work, they've got the money, and they're gonna reap the benefits from it. Me bidding on that, like. That's so much work on my plate. I'm going to have to go out and hire a contractor. It's just like that. You're screwing up the circle there in retrospect. Like, so they took it. And they're going to reap lots of money from it.
Easily. But what can you guys, let me ask you this. What can you guys tell to someone similar to me on the most productive and effective ways, if your money's right, to really consider the route that we've been talking about, like not the single home, like the cookie cutter strategy, but like if you're serious, you want to educate yourself, you want to build wealth, and like what we've talked about off record, like how would you guys pitch it to them on like strategies to begin real estate investing?
For a duplex.
I was gonna say we talked about it on our
For a duplex.
last episode a little bit too. Don't even have to do that. Just leveraging that mortgage that you have. 3% down can get you into a home, and it's a dilapidated home that you can go and do some work into and force appreciation and get you that 20%. And now you're not paying PMI. You've got extra money that you can pull from. It's just like there's PMI? So many private mortgage insurance. If you put anything less than 20%, you pay PMI on conventional FHA, which when you were kind of highlighting FHA and it sounded like you were going to go that route.
Yeah.
It's not the route you want to go because you pay an upfront mortgage insurance and then you pay PMI or mortgage insurance for life. The rest of the life of the loan. It doesn't go away. Conventional it falls off. Yeah.
So generally speaking, you want to go conventional.
Yeah.
Otherwise, with the asterisk on USDA,
FHA is, in retrospect, for someone who can barely qualify.
Okay.
It's a government-backed loan, which means there's more security to it. Mm-hmm. Conventional, someone who has good credit is going to go that route because FHA is pure mortgage insurance.
However, if you need to go FHA, do it. And refinance out of it later.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
for sure.
If you're at 620 and that's like the score you need to get into FHA, and FHA comes with a higher down payment, 3.5%, so 0.5% higher than the conventional program. If you can do that and get into a home, it doesn't mean that you have to sit there and wait it out and get to 20% to refinance. Like, no, my older brother used FHA to get into the home because his credit was a little bit worse at the time of trying to get into a home. Owning a home improves your credit. Paying down your mortgage improves your credit. So getting that home, getting that home and paying on your home is going to improve your credit 6 months from now. Now your credit's in qualifying shape for conventional. You can refinance out of that FHA loan and go in conventional and then have it drop off. So there's just getting into the home is the biggest step. And that's where, if you have the means and you're figuring it out, your credit's 620. Okay, you're not going to qualify for conventional. Let's go FHA and get you into the home, but we're going to get you quickly out of this program because it's not the best for you. Versus coming to me, you've got a 780 credit score. Like, we're going conventional to the wall. There's no way we're changing that. And so there's just, there's
That's a good point. That's a good point because when you don't know lick of anything about real estate and you're just getting into it, like, that was a confusing topic to me when I was listening to Bigger Pockets and just understanding loans. They were saying great things about FHA loans, but it depends, right? Like, everything depends.
It's great. Don't get me wrong. It's great.
Yeah, but it depends,
get you
right?
into a home. If you can't get into the home because you don't have credit, it gets you into a home. And that's what we've talked about so much is you're playing the game now.
Street savviness,
you have
really.
Started the game. You've brought your Monopoly token to the start board and you're ready to play. Until then, you're still gathering your money and getting your piece to the board, FHA gets you in the game if you can't get into the game conventional. If you're going if conventional-wise, you're not going to go FHA. There's no reason to go that program if you can qualify for conventional.
Most duplexes or just I'll say that.
But there's people out there who will put you in FHA. So, forewarning.
That's a good point.
Know your programs.
That's when you know what their best interest is.
You got to know your programs, know your client, know where they want to go. It might right now it doesn't make sense to put anyone in ARMs because ARMs and interest rates, they're so close right now. Fixed rates and ARMs. Adjustable rate mortgages, they're so close right now. It doesn't make sense. But 4 years ago, when you're sitting down and you're talking to someone who wants to be an investor, who wants to use this home as a 5-year project to then get out, it doesn't make sense to put you into a 30-year fixed mortgage. It makes sense to put you into a 5/1 ARM where you're 5 years.
It's like a balloon, right?
Well, a 5/1 ARM is your first 5 years are fixed, and that rate is usually far lower than a 30-year fixed rate. So take, 4 years ago, say rates were 3.875 for a 30-year. 5/1 ARM would have been like a 2.875 or a 3. So for 5 years, you're getting a substantially different rate, and then it becomes adjustable. But you're only going to be in this home for 5 years, and then you're going to leave. So once you hit that 5-year point, you're going to refinance that 5/1 ARM before it becomes adjustable with the market, and you're going to put it into a 30-year fixed, and now it's an investment property, and you move it on to your next piece. 5/1 ARM it because you only want to be there for 5 years, get the lowest interest. So it's just like, certain environments bring different products to the table in the playing field for certain people, and right now it's not an environment for ARMs because interest rates are so goddamn low. It's just
low. It makes sense.
Use the 30-year fix because it's the same program. 5 years from now, it might not make sense for an investor to go after a 30-year fix. And maybe it's 10 years that they want to be in this property. Maybe it's 7 years. You know, there's 5-1 arms, 7-1 arms, 3-1, 10-1.
Yeah, that's the point. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to, like, think about what – you have to learn what each thing means and then do some digging your own homework on, like, okay, this guy's telling me this, but, like,
or don't even learn.
What does it really mean?
Just know
Tell
someone.
me,
know
tell
someone.
me what you want to do, and then I'll tell you, okay, these are your options. And then okay, based off my options, here I'm going to research it. I feel like this is going to be the best for me. Cool, come back to me. I don't think that's going to be the best for you based off of what you told me. Here's the route that I would have told you to go. You know, it's just like having someone who does it for a living, you're able to bounce ideas off of, and they're able to figure out options for you based off of what you talk to them about. Knowing someone, getting that personal touch is so big, because if I don't know where you want to go 5-10 years from now, I'm not putting you in the best loan program, and I'll happily admit that, you know. There's times where someone literally calls me and I've never met them, and it's just like, get my loan done, do this. It's like, I might not be putting them in the best program, and it eats at me, but they don't want to give any more information.
Yeah, they're not putting their efforts in to, like, give you a plan. Then you're like, all right, like, this guy wants a house, I'll get him a house. And, you know, like, whatever. No, it's totally transparent, right? Like, I would think that if you're trying to get into real estate, you would at least do some digging to build a game plan, but obviously you guys have seen differently.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many different scenarios, because we had a guy on for reverse mortgages, and that's like a whole different aspect to the mortgage world. And when you're talking, you know, and I started to see it after a mortgage or a reverse mortgage episode. I'm sitting here and like I get a client who calls in, and they're 64 years old and they're ready to purchase their next home. They just sold a property in whatever state, and they're putting $350,000, $400,000 down onto this next house, and it's just like, whoa, like that screams at me like that's a large down payment. Why are you putting that much cash onto the house? Like, you're this age, you know, this is another product for you. It's just, once I know of things, you start to figure out like, okay, this could make sense for you. Why don't we explore this option and just see it and see if it makes sense and figure it out? Like, you make the ultimate decision. Let me just show you your options. And most people shoot down options when it's just like they're so stuck in their ways. Like, I did my Google research. I want to do it this. And it's like, there's options. Yeah. There's better ones for you.
Right. No, that's well said.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to touch on that?
No. I really enjoyed our episode today and our conversation, because not only did we get to hear more about CB Cooper Brunner, Mr. Moon Pie himself, Moon Pie Mondays, but we also got to kind of see what it was like for someone that's newer in the real estate cycle and learning process.
Like, my family's business is doing well. Like, I'm saving. Like, obviously with COVID, you can't really do shit right now. So I'm like thinking, okay, what's my next step? What's my next game plan? And building a plan on, like, learning with you guys has been super beneficial for all of us, right? Because you guys are giving me the resources, and, like, obviously I want to help a friend, give them business to give me business. Like we always say, like, one dog eats, another dog eats, we all eat, right? Like, you're helping a brother out. And that's, it's been fun, dude. It's been fun. Like, I really want to learn. I really want to, like, dive into it, but I'm being patient. Like, it's got to be, like, good fit, good scenario. The industry right now, like, with my money right now, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to,
like...
That's
the thing, though. So many people start this research and start doing everything, and then the number one question that I get after, you know, I've provided them a ton of literature and we've talked and done everything that we've done to this point, they go, well, when's the right time?
Yeah.
And it's like...
I'm not going to shy away, but I got to know it's financially right.
Like, the right time is based off of when you feel like it's right. I'm providing you and trying to educate you and give you everything that you are armed and equipped with to be like, now's the time. Like, we're going hunting.
Yeah.
We're strapping on the gear. We're going hunting today.
That's it.
It's like, I hate that question after I've given so much to people, because it's like, well, I don't choose
it's a good
the
question,
time.
though.
I'm not the time for you. You choose it. I'm trying to give you so that you can make that decision.
For respect, for sure.
He's like Enterprise. It gives you the tools to be your own boss.
Is that their slogan?
No free ads.
No free
Cooper,
ads.
thank you for joining us. I appreciate you sitting
Thanks
down.
for
Round
having me
2. I was excited to have you back. Always good seeing you.
Definitely.
Team Mustache.
Definitely.
Don't forget to check out Cooper's podcast, Cooper Brunner podcast. It's on.
How do you spell Brunner?
Brunner.
There we go.
Yeah, I've been on here too.
Can't miss it.
Prior podcast, so you guys got to check that one out too. But yeah, just check me out. Instagram handle cbrunner37, and check out the podcast, Cooper Brunner podcast, because these guys have been on too, and they explain a lot of things with real estate. So it's super informative. But like I always say, make today count. And thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah.
Adios.
Peace. That's the end of today's episode. Thank you for tuning in. It truly means a lot to us. If you haven't already, please subscribe and share this with friends. This helps fuel the podcast and gets more and more guests on our show. Hey, go follow us on Instagram as well. Desk Talk Podcast. Go connect with Trent and I as well. We're on Instagram too, LinkedIn, you name it. Stay tuned for more episodes. Peace.